Hey everybody, what's up? This is your boy Mars with my man Ty, and we are here with the awesome Brianna Mayo.
Hello.
Hey. She is here presenting us. She's an author, guys.
Yes,
I'm
she
an
is.
author. Like, I know somebody that. I mean, I know a few people that made a book, but I'm like really
But
more
Moss
excited.
is holding her book
I
in
am.
his hand.
Hey, check that out.
Real life book.
Check that out. The book is on Amazon for $15.
Yes.
Breathe. And so guess what, y'all? This book right here is about teens going through, like, thinking about suicide and things of that nature. So it is interesting because I don't know how many of you guys know anybody that ever thought about suicide or if you thought about suicide yourself. And so I'm going to ask Ms. Mayo, why suicide? Why this book?
Because it's very important. A lot of people do not realize suicide is the second leading cause of death amongst adolescents and teenagers.
Leading cause.
According to the CDC, it doubled within the last decade. I know people personally that's in middle school and high school who have struggled with thoughts of suicide, and it's important. It's something that needs to be talked about right now, and everyone needs to be aware that your child or your niece or nephew, because guys are included too, may be struggling with this.
Wow.
I don't know, did you watch 13 Reasons Why on
I'm glad you
Netflix?
said that.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so
glad you said
I
that.
feel like that went so viral so fast because of the issues, like you just now said, it's the second leading cause of deaths that, and a lot of times we don't address it. And the reason I love 13 Reasons Why, because it's not like, I always thought people who dealt with suicide had this one traumatic thing that happened and they just couldn't do it no more and sent them over the edge. It's actually a lot of little things that nobody ever pays attention to. Like you was just telling me earlier in the conversation, at home, at school, at work, a lot of just you not understanding how to deal with areas that you need to face into, and like you said, escape. We escape way too much, and then we escape ourselves right over the edge to suicide.
Yeah, see, it begins at your point. Once you start to realize and see things and comprehend things, whether you're 3 or 4 years old, and you just it begins to build because you don't know how to deal with it.
Wow.
So now you get into school, and now maybe you're being teased, and you're seeing your mom and your dad, they go head to head. Maybe you're in a single parent household and you don't understand why that other parent isn't there, right? So now you got all this stuff in your head and you don't know how to release it. But a lot of things that kids do is that they would try their parents. They may say something, and if you handle that wrong, then they won't say anything to you again. So now this is just continuing to build up until finally it's like, I don't want to be here.
So, did you ever deal with suicide? Have you ever contemplated suicide at all?
Several times.
Okay.
Attempted through pills, through a knife. So this is actually dear to my heart too.
Okay.
Because I always tell people choose life. If I would have did what I did, I couldn't be in the position I am now to reach others that's dealing with it, right?
So this is a question I asked someone, and I think I didn't talk about it in the youth church or something like that, but I always wonder like how self-harm becomes an option, because it hurts. It's not like something that you do that brings pleasure.
Right.
It brings pain. Like, so how does that become an option?
You want to feel how you feel internally.
That's what I was thinking.
Right? So internally, you're literally melting. You're really hurt. You're hurting. So now you want to feel that. You probably don't want to go all the way over and kill yourself, but I just want to feel it just to help. It's just like a drug, right? I'm going to get high, I'm going to drink, so I become numb to it, right? And so people who use knives or take pills or do drugs or sex parties, that's all that is. But it's a high that you always want because you're not dealing with the root issue of why you feel the way you feel.
So do you want to tell the people the synopsis of your book?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's about a 16-year-old girl named Alexis. And she lives at home with her twin brother and her mom. And her father left when they was 8. And she doesn't have a good relationship with her mother. So it's a lot of things that's just going on, and she's building, and she's questioning why. She would sometimes hear from her father, who actually has another family.
Wow. Okay.
Right? And so it's all this that's going in her head, and every chapter, she questions life. Why am I here? You know, some people who actually question life, they only hold on for a specific reason. Like for her, because of her brother. Some people say, well, I'm not going to kill myself because I need to be here for my kids.
Right.
I need to be here for this person.
Right.
But you're dying internally anyway, right? And so your kids, your siblings, they see it, right? And so you're not really helping the situation. You got to become at peace within yourself. And so you see this journey just continue on in the book.
So I was, I looked at a TED Talk, and the young lady, and I'll give you guys the name of that TED Talk. The young lady was saying that research has stated 81% of people that commit suicide actually tell somebody before they do it. A relative or a friend knows. So 81%. Other statistics show that yearly it's 44,000 people that commit suicide. And then 24 out of every one attempts to. So just think about 24 times 44,000.
Right.
You know, so isn't that, once again, it's definitely not a subject that we should sleep on at all. At all. So with this, have you had any friends that you've actually helped go past suicide, or I mean, not committed, or you know anybody that you helped talk out of it?
Not since I was high school.
Okay.
So I remember two young ladies when I was in high school actually shared with me that they got raped by their uncle. Right? You don't know what's going on in their head. They couldn't tell their mom and stuff like that. And so not since I was in high school, but I've talked to teachers from my alma mater about current ninth graders who are struggling with those thoughts.
Okay.
And so I do plan on going there and talking to the youth and things of that nature. But it's something, like, I am so passionate about this. It is something that needs to be discussed. If you see a young youth that they got an attitude problem, whatever you may think of them, you just need to hug them. You need to treat them with love. You don't know what they're going through. A lot of people just need an arm or a shoulder just to, rest on. They need somebody that they can rely on. Right? Because they don't feel as though they have that. So, community is important. Wrap your arms around the youth is so important. Not judging them is so important. Loving them, it's important to pray for the youth. Seriously, that should be a big prayer. Pray for them because they're dealing with so much.
I got two things. Go ahead.
So I was going to ask, you touched on it a little bit just now, but we were sitting in a circle of young people in their 20s, and one of our dear friends had told us that she contemplated suicide this past year in 2018. And me, I am sitting there, cool, collected. In my head, I am freaking out. I'm like, yo! Did anybody know? Like, oh my God, like I would have canceled things to be there, like if I knew you were dealing with something this tragic, like, cause I wouldn't even want that to be an option in anybody's life. So like the question I would have is, what do you know to be the signs, some of the telltale signs that we can pay attention to that might show, like, this might, it's just a symptom, but it might be something more going on behind the scenes.
Spottiness. So if your youth or whoever the case may be, it's always, in the function, not all of a sudden they're spotty, right? Withdrawal is very big. You got to pay attention. Like if you're in a circle and everyone laughing, are they laughing or they, fake laughing? You got to pay attention to how people are interacting because it's always something that's happening in here. And that's when you pull them to the side, you talk to them and stuff like that. Hopefully they'll let you in. But if you see the difference, that's when you have to go in war and really be praying for them.
Okay.
Right? Really pray. Even if you don't know, because God always knows what's in our heart and what's in our mind. And a lot of people got to understand that God loves you.
Right.
And He cares about you. Regardless of what's going on in your life, you have to know that and believe that. Because then you'll know that you're here for a reason. You're not here to just suffer. A lot of people think that I'm just here to suffer. No. You're here for a reason. You're here to have joy and peace. Right? Yes, we're going to go through things and stuff like that. But that does not mean God doesn't love you. So just keep praying.
Absolutely.
And so that's what I was going to get to you. So just a quick story. I know we was talking about this earlier. I know when I was around I left Penn State. I went through Great Depression.
Great Depression.
Was feeling like a girl I was dealing with. She was dating somebody else from her home state. That kind of broke my heart. My buddies that I went to school with, we didn't seem like we was close enough. I moved down to Houston, manual labor with one of my best friends, just trying to do the music thing, and then we was selling, we was hustling here and there, we was eating one meal a day. So I came back home and my mom was saying she needed help with my grandmother. I told her that I didn't want to live no more. And I grew up, went to a Catholic school for 10 years, so I was taught that it was a sin and you would go to hell. But I was like, God, I kept saying, God, if I walk outside and the car jumps the curb, I'm ready. If someone pulls out a gun and say pow pow, I'm ready. Yeah. And so I told my mom was like, I love you, don't think that way. What would I do if you she was thinking I was going to do it, and I was like, no, I just don't know my purpose. Mm-hmm. I don't know what life is about. I don't know what I should do. I don't know what, nothing is fulfilling. I talked to you. This is when me and him came back to Christ, and he was like, man, I love you, man. You can't be feeling this way, man. What am I gonna do if you out here, man? Like he was. So we went to church. I got saved. He rededicated his life like April 3rd, 2005, and we are here today. So my thing about that is, I had to find out what my purpose was. I use my faith. So I'm asking you, and I'm gonna ask you, Ty, have you ever had? After I asked her, have you ever had a suicide situation? But I want to ask you, how does your faith plays into this? Because you have people that's probably going to view this that aren't in our faith. All of us are Christian. But how do you talk to someone that's not in the faith, and how does the faith contribute to you actually getting past it?
Talk to someone that's not in the faith. You still give them love, right? You still want to let them know that they're here for a purpose. Mm-hmm. Whether or not they believe or not believe, you still need to let them know that, because it is your love that's going to do the ministry more than any scripture can ever do, right? Any word. So you love on them, and even if they are in the faith, because I remember when I was like 18, it's 2 years post of dedicating my life to Christ, I didn't always believe in God. So 2 years then I was like, God, you can just take me now. I'm ready to go to heaven. I'm ready not to be here. But I had to realize, like, if I'm here, if I'm still breathing, then there's something in me that I need to do. Right? And it was like, well, Lord, let me know about your love. Because if your love is supposed to sustain me, it's your peace that surpasses all understanding, I'm going to need that right now.
Right, absolutely.
And so I had to pray, and I had to get in his word more and worship. And then I realized, like, when I focus on him, everything doesn't matter to me no more. Like, all the things that didn't bother me, because I realized greater is he that's in me. Right? I realized that there is something bigger and a better purpose for me to live on this earth. And I still say, and I always say, if I would have killed myself or did anything self-harm, I could not help the youth. And think about, if I would have killed myself, how many other people would end up dying or still being depressed because there wasn't a vessel to be used to help them, right? So you got to realize, man, you're here. Look what here, right? So. And there's other youth that my sister know who was struggling with suicide, couldn't talk to them. Right? So everything happens for a reason.
Wow.
So I would say a few years ago, I was at, I feel like, the lowest place I have ever been in my life. And it's crazy because I'm the most positive person ever. Like, I'm full of life, joy all the time, and I feel like I bring that energy everywhere I go. But at that time in my life, I felt like in every area in my life, I was making everything worse. Because of my actions that I was choosing to make during that time. And I was riding home from work, and I was drinking and driving on the way home from work. I had worked all night, all day, all night, and I was just feeling at an all-time low. And I was like, man, I'm not making anybody's life better. Like, I really do feel like the world would be better off without me, because I'm not helping. I'm bringing so many people down. Like, I don't feel like it's any point. But at that same, looking back on it now, at the same time, I wasn't really, I went to church, but I wasn't connected in the church.
Right.
I wasn't a part of no ministry. I didn't do no groups, no anything like that. I went, it wasn't even every week, and it was a mega church, so you could easily just go, never know anybody, get what you came for, and roll out. And that's what I did. Like, there was no authentic connection with God outside of there, and there was no authentic connection with people that I really could, felt like I could pass my burdens on and share them with. So I was imploding from the inside out. Like, I just didn't see a reason. Thank God I'm not there anymore. But yeah, my faith is what pulled me out. A few people, you being one of them, came close to me and showed me love. Like you said, they didn't tell me a lot of things. They showed me undeserved love. Because what I felt like I was doing, I felt like it would have been equal return for me to get the heartache that I put on people's lives. Like, if Moss would have cussed me out every time he talked to me because everything I was doing, it would have been rightfully due to me. I felt like that was due to me, but they didn't come across that way. They showed me some unconditional love, like, and it just, I lean on this song so much now. It lifted me up. Even, it was like my hope in my horrible situation. This old song that says "Love lifted me." Like Moss and my mom and my dad and my wife, and I mean, just people. It wasn't like you just said. It wasn't a lot of things that they said. It was the love that they showed. I saw God, that He loved me through it all. Even my worst, like, it was not going to change. My worst wasn't going to change His love for me. So I really do feel for people who not connected. I mean, that's when I feel like it takes us who are connected to be a part of somebody's life. Like, make sure, even if they don't believe or anything, make sure you're a part. So, like Marcellus, his purpose is to be a bridge. Make sure you're a part of somebody's life, so maybe you can possibly connect them, maybe not to God at the moment or over time, but just connect them to yourself, because if they don't have God, but they have you, God is in you. So, I mean, that life, you still bringing life to the situation. So.
And you may be the only Bible people read. Your lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
And people don't actually believe that God cares about them. So we as vessels, as children, must show forth the love of God to the hurting people that God has called us to say, look, I care because my God cares. That's the reason. That's why I care about the youth, because my God cares. He cares about what the youth is going through, and He wants them to know that He loves them. So we got to be willing vessels and not be too caught up in what we're going through. That's a trigger the enemy and go out and reach, right?
Yes.
So
one of my favorite scriptures now. You talked about it earlier. You talked about we need to express no judgment a lot of times. My favorite scripture is, after the most popular scripture in the world, is John 3:16. For God so loved the world. It's the next one. Like, it just totally changed my life. For now, therefore, is no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus. Like, God's not going around waving His finger at everything we do wrong and trying to make us feel bad about it. Like, He loves us through that stuff. Like, 'cause I feel like Jesus could have easily came. I heard a preacher say this. Jesus could have easily came and been like, I'm right, you're wrong, follow me. He didn't do that. Like, He showed love. He spent time with people. He walked with people. He had dinner with people. He befriended people. He befriended enemies, kept them closer than friends. Like, His love that He, like, actually lived and expressed in His 3-year ministry was, like, outrageous. And He didn't walk around putting people down because of what they was going through. He just said, follow me.
And one of the biggest things I think he did, and Stephen, was he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Before Stephen died, he was being stoned. And he said, forgive them.
Right. Yeah.
That is love. That is compassion. Because I had to look at myself. Would I say forgive them?
Right.
Or I would be like David and say, please get them.
Right, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
So that's love right there.
It is.
That is love. So, one last thing. What are the ways that that you guys would say for someone to get out of suicide? What are the methods?
Yep.
To come out of suicide for someone to not go that route?
The methods to come out of suicide, it starts always within. Where the problem is where it's going to start also.
Right.
Right. So the problem is within, and it's going to start within. You have to see value in yourself. You have to wake up and every day and say, I am important. While you're in the mirror, I am important. You may not believe it at first, but you need to say it every day, because the more you hear something, you're going to believe it.
Right.
Like, I'm important, I am valuable, regardless of what anyone says of me. And then you start living different. Like, no, I cannot die. I have goals, I have dreams, I have aspirations, I have things I want to do. I have a purpose to live on this earth. So that's what I would say. Just start from within.
I would say that when I deal with teenagers, I've learned the teenagers of today, Generation Z, I don't answer all their questions. I want them to be curious about their experience. They need to ask these questions about what's going on instead of, like you said earlier, moving to a place of escapism all the time. Like, you need to be curious about what you're experiencing. Ma said, he just shared with us before the video how the guy, Miko, said if you want to know what's going on in your heart for real, turn everything off.
TV, phone. He said get in a room, stay in a house and just figure out, see where your mind goes. And wherever your mind goes is probably what's more on your heart, what's more germane to you. And if it's negative, or if you start to get, antsy, more than likely you're not at peace with yourself. It's all about trying to find out if you're at peace. Because we'll turn on the TV, we'll turn on the radio, get on the phone, get on the internet, all these different vices that we were talking about in the other video. But you got to figure out where your heart is at. And I would add to what both of them was saying, that be open and honest. You are not the only one that actually that feels like life is heavy on them. I think all of us do, even the millionaires and the billionaires, the rich, the poor, the middle class, all of us at some point in time may feel like we are isolated, but you're not. If it's literally 44,000 people that are committing suicide, you're not the only one that's going through it.
Absolutely.
But community has brought me out of the feeling of our faith, community, being open, understanding that my voice and what I feel may be a weakness, but it doesn't define me. It's not all of it.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to figure out. The things that you feeling that's really hurting you is not all of you. It's a part, and it's probably going to pass. And you probably have more people that want to help you than you think. And if you don't, you have a hotline, and I will find a number. You have a hotline number?
I don't have the hotline number. There's a suicide hotline number.
Yes, and I will give it to you.
And one of the statements last year that just stuck with me to my ribs, like it became part of my life, was the statement that says it's okay to not be okay.
Right. Yes.
We all walking around smiling, taking pictures, laughing it up, like Moss just said. But that's not all of the situation all the time. That's not everything that's going on. But you need to be able to connect with somebody and be real. You can't deal what's really going inside of you with a pretend you. You can't your pretend self. It can never get to the bottom of the, like she just said, the root of the problem that's going on, as long as you pretending that everything's okay. It's okay to not be okay, because you can only heal from what's revealed. So you have to be able to acknowledge that something's going on for there to be a healing, to be able to come in. And like I just said a minute ago, yes, you can reach out to others, but a lot of times I believe that answer to those questions, the purpose and all that stuff is in you. We just don't take the time to slow down and address it and try to figure it out. But it's great. You have the question a lot of times, but you also, if you pause and focus enough, you also have the answer inside.
I also want to piggyback too. For us in the faith, a lot of times we say, speak things into existence. And so as Ty was saying, as you turn around and you are being honest about how you feel, what as time will go on, as Brianna was saying, what we do is we want to cut off the negative with a positive. So if you talking to a friend or a family member, or you even praying, meditating, either or, say, yes, I ain't feeling right, I don't feel worthy. But we'll turn to scriptures, or you have affirmations that say, I'm not the only one. I don't have to stay here. I am great. I am wonderful. And you have to be completely honest and also lift that thing up with a good word.
Plug on what my son was just saying about affirmations. I have a daily affirmation that I always say, because with any and everybody, if you've been through trauma or hurt and all that stuff, it seems like that stuff comes up more in memories than all of the good times. So one of my daily affirmations that I tell myself every single day is, my past will remind me, but it will not define me. It can remind me all day long, but it doesn't make me who I am. And at the point that I started confessing that daily affirmation over my life, I got this realization that we maximize a part of the story and we try to make it it's just a piece, it's a scene in your movie of your life. It's not the whole thing. Don't get caught up in one negative scene and make it bigger than the whole story of your life. Please don't get caught up, because don't cut the story short. No one wants a half book. No one wants just one chapter of your story. It is important for you to get to the end of your story. Your life matters so much.
Get to the end.
Naturally. But please.
See, you can't let your past into your present. Right. Because you let your past into your present, you would never see a future. Right? See, every day we get to choose joy. Right. No matter what's going on in your life, you choose whether or not you're going to feel bad or feel good every day. You have that power within you. So every day when you wake up, regardless of what happened, you choose joy, you choose happiness. You let the past go. A lot of things that we do is we let things fester and build up, and we have to let it all go. Everything that you have an issue with, everything that you have not forgiven that happened in your past, you have to let it go. It is imperative. You have to forgive people. Right. Whether you think they deserve it or not, you have to forgive them. For you, and just let it go and move freely in life. Right. I promise you, if you forgive and let things go, you will walk so much lighter. Your heart won't feel as heavy. Your mind, you won't have these constant headaches. I used to have headaches every day. Right. Stressed out. Right? So you have to let it all go and live free. Just breathe. Literally. Image.
Shameless plug?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Absolutely. I was just thinking about what she just said as an image. I just heard in a message that said, you can't move on to something new holding on to something else. So I'm thinking about this arm, and this arm represents my past. I can't get up and move to all the greater things that it is in life if I'm steadily holding on to my past. I cannot get to all the world that that has to offer me, and all the good that's in the world, all the stuff that I've never seen before. If I can't drag this couch everywhere I need to go, I won't get there. So you can't grab onto something new and be holding on to your past at the same. It don't. That's not how it works. And a lot of times I feel like what she just said, we dragging the couch from 13 to 30. And like she said, we get caught up in our habit. It becomes habits. And you become stuck and you don't even realize. And then you sit down with a therapist where you're 30 years old, and they say, and they digging all the way back to your teenage years to get to the root. Oh, you've been holding on to this couch. That's the problem. Like you said, you haven't forgiven. Because forgiveness, if you don't forgive in certain areas, it's toxic in you. You think you're getting back at the person by not letting them have your forgiveness. It's eating you alive from the inside. It's holding you back.
So I got a plaque that my mom got me. It said, you probably heard it before. Our thoughts become our words. Our words become our actions. Our actions become our habits. Our habits become our character. Our character becomes our destiny. I think I said it right. Yeah. Y'all it starts with our thoughts, y'all. So let's get that under control.
I heard this sermon by T.D. Jakes, and I want to tell everyone who's struggling with forgiving their parents, please forgive your parents. And T.D. Jakes said a lot of people are holding on to things that your parents did, and your parents only gave you what they had the capacity to give you. So if you was expecting this extraordinary, extravagant love and you didn't get that, that's because that's all that they could give was what they gave you. And that's probably because what their parents gave them was all that they could give them.
Right.
But you can break that right now. You can choose love and choose joy and just forgive your parents and move forward with your life. Even if you're still living in the house with them, even if they're still doing things that's hurting you, still saying things that's just mean and disrespectful, choose every day to forgive them and move forward in your life.
Yeah. That's all I have. And Liana, you have anything else to say?
Nope, just breathe.
We need to get this book on Amazon, y'all. It's
Absolutely.
$15.
Please.
Read, okay? Ty, you got anything?
Nope, this is not my show. I'm going to stop right here.
All right, it's Mars and Ty and Brianna Mayo.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Chicken wings and grits again.
How long was you think that was in that?
That was a long.